He then comes to the pulpit and places his hand on the protrusion which was there. It's no longer there. In the time of Imam Shurullah, it's no longer there. And that's the place where the Prophet, when he was on the minbar, he used to place his hand against it. So what you're doing is you're taking tabarruk. You're taking blessings from the place of the Prophet that he touched. So that's where to take blessings with the trace of the Messenger of Allah. Because the blessings of the Prophet will remain on there until the Yawm al-Qiyamah. Every single place the Prophet he came into contact with, the blessings will remain until the Yawm al-Qiyamah. And that's why we mentioned that last time the hadith of the Prophet said that the soil of Medina is a shifa. The soil of Medina is a shifa, it's a healing. I take the soil of Medina and rub it on you, it will heal you. Why? Because the Prophet walked on that soil. And everything he came onto is blessed. And so the shifa within that. Even that, there's authentic reports that the urine of the Prophet was taken as shifa. That they used to drink the urine of the Prophet as a cure from sicknesses. Because everything, in a sense, everything that the Prophet, there was nothing impure in the Prophet, and everything about him was a healing. He could touch you and he would heal you. Anything that came from him would heal a person. So there's blessings in everything that the Prophet came into contact with. And again here, this has become a contentious issue, but not with Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, not with Orthodox Muslims. There's no disagreement in terms of taking tabarruk from the Anbiya wal Awliya, taking blessings from things that are sacred and places and people that are sacred. There's no disagreement amongst Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. It was an accepted practice. It was the accepted practice of the Sahaba. They kept with them everything that the Prophet came into contact with. And there's a hadith in the Shama'il of Imam Tirmidhi where Anas ibn Malik used to keep the containers of the Prophet with him. Many narrations about the hairs of the Prophet. Khalid ibn Walid in his turban, he would have a hair of the Prophet with him. And they say that's one of the causes of him never losing the battle, because he had the hair of the Prophet with him in his turban. So here you're doing the same. You take blessings from anywhere that the Prophet came into contact with. So he comes to the pulpit and places his hand on the protrusion which was there to take blessings with the trace of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the place of his blessed hand when he delivered sermons to attain his blessings sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He blesses him and he sends salawat upon him and asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever he wants. He then comes to the wailing pillar, Al-Hannana, which is, in this is the remnant of the trunk that sobbed for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he left it and delivered sermons in the pulpit until he descended and embraced it. The Mutawatir narrations, originally the Prophet in his masjid, when he was delivering sermons, he would lean against a tree, the trunk of a tree that was in the masjid, until because so many people because the numbers increased, the Prophet decided that he'd have a pulpit built so he could stand on this so his voice would go further. The first time he did this, all the Sahaba said that they heard a sobbing sound coming from the trunk of that tree. They heard a sobbing sound and it wouldn't stop. And eventually the Prophet came down and he embraced the trunk of that tree, and then it calmed down. And that's known as Al-Hannana. The trunk of the tree that wailed and it sobbed because of the separation of the Prophet, because of its separation from the Prophet. And one of the Salaf, he said, blaming all of the Muslims, he said, like, how bad are you that an inanimate object, when the Prophet separates, is in such a state, but you are Muslims, when the Prophet is left, you don't respond in that manner. The Sahaba did. They behaved as that tree trunk did. They went, Sayyidina Umar, he lost it totally. And the Sahaba, they say that he just sank. He just sank there and he just couldn't move from that place. So they reacted in that manner, but us, we don't react in that manner. We don't have the physical. The Prophet was a physical human being sitting here with us. We don't have that. He left this world. We should be crying as the tree trunk cried at that point. So you come to that place and you take blessings with that place, because that's somewhere Prophet went and consoled it. And so there's tabarruk take blessings from that place. And then he says he takes blessings with whatever remains of the prophetic remains and the noble places. He strives to worship at night whilst residing there. Unfortunately, it can't be done nowadays in the masjid because they'll close the masjid after Isha prayer. After Isha prayer, except for in Ramadan when they'll keep it open for i'tikaf. I don't know if they changed that, but they close it, so you can't do Qiyam al-Layl or Tahajjud in Medina. Sorry, still closed, yeah. It's an unfortunate thing that people can't worship at night there. But whilst you're in Medina, try and ensure that you do Tahajjud, and try and ensure that you just read as much salawat as possible whilst residing there. He strives to worship. Why do you do that? He says to attain sight of the prophetic presence, so that you can see the Prophet ﷺ whilst you're in Medina, and to visit him as regularly as possible. It is recommended to leave for Baqi' and to go to the site and visit particularly the grave of the masses. So you should try and regularly visit the Sahaba and the Salihin who are buried within Baqi', and it's something you should be doing constantly whilst you're in Medina. Revive the Sunnah of the Prophet, go and visit, and whilst you're there, he visits it every single day. He would visit. So revive that Sunnah of the Prophet. Try and visit as regularly as possible when you go there. And go into the site and visit. So do all the ziyarats of Medina, particularly the grave of the master of the martyrs, Sayyid al-Shuhada, Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu. He visits Abbas, Hassan ibn Ali radiallahu anhu, and the remainder of the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Try and ensure, and this is something you should do, whenever you go to a Muslim land where there are Sahaba buried and awliya buried, they're the people you should be visiting. And really they should take precedence over the living that you're visiting there. They should take precedence because they're greater than, if you're going to Sham, if you're going to Damascus, 3,000 Sahaba buried in Damascus, they're the ones you should be visiting. They're the people you should be visiting. And the living people, alhamdulillah, there's great individuals there, but do they take precedence over the Sahaba, the Prophet? You should be visiting, you should ensure Sayyidina Bilal is buried in Damascus. That's somebody you should go and visit. So whenever you go to Muslim lands, go and visit the awliya, go and visit the Sahaba, go and visit the Anbiya, make sure you do ziyarah, and then whilst you're there as well, visit the living in those places. These are people who you want to intercede on your behalf on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He visits Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, Ibrahim, the son of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the wives of the Prophets, his Aunt Safiya radiallahu anhunna ajma'in. So you do the ziyarah of the Sahaba and Ahl al-Bayt and all of these people.